On clear days, you can often see long white lines being traced high in the sky. They are contrails of jet aircraft, actually long, slender clouds.
Didn't show up on the YouTube file.
Why isn't it on there?
That video didn't show up, I don't know.
I don't. Oh, it's there.
I'm looking at the YouTube.
On clear days, you can often see long white lines being traced high in the sky. They are contrails of jet aircraft, actually long, slender clouds. Weathermen are finding them especially fascinating because a theory is being developed that those long white lines may be changing our weather for the better. Details from Roger O'Neill.
The exhaust from jet engines, usually seen as long, thin trails of white clouds behind high-flying jet airplanes, may be a big reason why there are 30 fewer days of sunshine a year in the Midwest now than there were in 1900. The daily range between high and low temperatures has also narrowed. Weather researchers studying cloud cover in 10 Midwestern states found a sharp increase in cloudiness with the increase in commercial jet travel. Particularly in the main east-west jet corridor, there were even more clouds. A jet produces a contrail, or cloud, because its exhaust consists primarily of water vapor.
In the absence of natural clouds, given the correct atmospheric conditions, jet aircraft in high frequency can almost completely cover the atmosphere, visible atmosphere, with clouds.
Simonin says unlike most changes in the atmosphere caused by man, this one is beneficial. Clouds help farmers in the Midwest by blocking the sun. Temperature extremes can damage plants and speed up the evaporation of soil moisture. In the winter, city people benefit because clouds act as a blanket, preventing warm air from escaping into the atmosphere. No one is trying to make clouds now using jet engines, but this study suggests that jet travel is inadvertently making our days more cloudy. And someday, weather researchers may be able to use jets on purpose to change our weather. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Champaign, Illinois.
Now, the number of children in Japan is at its lowest since 1950. Figures released by the Internal Affairs Ministry says there are just over 14.6 million children in the country under the age of 14. Japan's falling birth rate and high life expectancy are placing huge pressures on public spending and resulting in labour shortages. Our global population correspondent Stephanie Hegarty has been looking into the story.
This is part of a global trend that we're seeing in all advanced economies and a lot of developing economies too. And it's dating back to after the war. As more women enter the workforce, they decide to delay having children, and they have less children as a result because the window of opportunity for having children is shorter. But what we're seeing in Japan is that this is accelerated. I mean, the Japanese government didn't expect to be seeing these numbers until about 2028. So it's accelerating quite rapidly. And that's for various reasons. What happens globally is when we have shocks, especially financial shocks, that leads people to take a step back and decide maybe it's not the time to have a child now.
The difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, right. Just as an example, it's you who are changed. And of course, this has a big impact on your identity.
And offers certain kinds of possibilities that have to be careful about. When you began to do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem. And of course, the new industrial revolution offers us many opportunities, but it raises manifold questions on the ethical, but even legal implications. And we have to be prepared for it. And that's what we want to do in Davos next year.
Talk about
will grow old, then I will die. I'll be a part of the oceans and sky. When I was young.
Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear us loud and clear.
All right, Spook.
I'm all right. Yeah, you all right, Chris?
Yes, very well, thank you.
Can you hear us all right, everybody? Please say yes. Everybody?
It's the first time we've done this, and yeah, got you.
All good. Yeah, sound. What's Chris drinking? He hasn't even opened his bottle yet. He said he was saving it.
I've just got a bottle of temper beefsteak one.
What is it? Beefsteak? Which piss?
No, it's the Mech. No, it's the Mech.
All right.
I'm not advertising for him or anything. Just picked it up from Co-op.
So, welcome to Sheep Farm Raw. Well, it's just we're going to try another little thing at some point. This is just the pilot go at it just to see if it all works. I made a bit of a cock of it at the beginning there when I was playing that video. I didn't realise there's a delay on our end. And
I know, and I had it on YouTube as well, so I think that was feeding through.
I think it was playing twice in my ears. But
I can't put comments on it. How do I do that? I don't know how you do it.
You won't be able to have got control here, Chris. Can't you see it?
Such is life.
Yeah. Can you see it? Can you see
Control.
it now?
What do you mean?
You can't see
I can
the comments.
No, I can see the comments. I can't put any in myself.
Right, okay. Well, you'll have to go onto YouTube for that.
I won't, because it'll go back to it.
Yeah, okay. So we've got a few things to have a chat about, actually, tonight. It's great that you can join us. I think there's quite a few people, more than I expected, because it's lastminute.com. 250 people, 254 now.
Oh, really? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's quite surprising that you want to listen to me and this Muppet over.
Why is it you? Why is it listening to you and this Muppet? Maybe you're the Muppet.
All right, you and my lovely brother. That doesn't sound right.
That's just creepy.
That
I'd rather you swat at me.
Give you some shit about your nostrils, yeah.
Yeah. Even though everyone can clearly see your nostrils are bigger than mine.
Where do we want to start, Chris? I sent you. We've got a bit of a list to work through, and Matt Bajerski's in the house.
Hello, Mr. Bajerski. I've got your pendant on, mate. Thank you very much.
So I wanted to start with saying that we were talking. You saw that jet video there, and what that reminded me of, not just the chemtrails, is that nothing's really been invented in the last 150 years since the internal combustion engine, apart from computers and things. But everything, we're just using the same technology. Electric cars were around then.
Well, if you look at all science fiction from way back, it always points to travel, doesn't it? Spaceships, rocket cars, all that stuff. But it didn't go that way at all. It went the way of communication, didn't it? As you know yourself, with mobile phones. Yeah. So none of that happened, did it? There was no rockets to anywhere. There was no flying cars. It was just communication. That's what speeded up, and that was never predicted in any science fiction, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll have to get Mark on one of these live chats at some point, just to interrupt there. In fact, if he's up for it, I might send him an invite in a bit. If you're up for it, Mark, just let me know, and we'll get you on this one. Yeah, well, I look at the jet engine, and that was meant to be at the forefront of technology, obviously, in 1920s or wherever when Whittle invented it. And they're still using it now, and it don't go any faster. It's not like they're travelling at 3,000 miles an hour.
Well, they had the Concorde. They ditched the Concorde.
Yeah. So they're actually ditching technology.
We've gone backwards. And also, have you seen? I've not really looked into it. The theory that the jet engines are not actually powered by fuel. They're just there to fire them into the sky, and then those things somehow tap into something and zoom it along. Because people have done. I haven't, and I'm not pretend I've looked at it a lot. I've just seen it very briefly, but that they can't hold enough fuel if they're going for a 12-hour flight, and they say they put it in the wings and they put it everywhere. But it would just be a flying bomb, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else knows anything about that, but yeah, one of the theories is it's just to get them in the sky.
Yeah, well,
they glide along.
Again, this is the suppression of technology. Really, we are given all these shiny things to look at, you know, widescreen TVs, etc., small phones and things like that. But in reality, they're not really giving us anything other. In fact,
toys.
As we did on the last Rise Above with the Revenge of the Nerds, it showed that these things were just put there like TV controls to control us.
Well, if anything, toys to make us work more a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Keep us distracted and make us work more. I had a thought the other day as well, Fight, that when you think of a lot of the inventions, they come from the military, don't they? Say, for instance, drone technology, all military. So when you think about it, that's paid for by us because we give the military, that's from tax money, and then they sell it back to you as toys and drones and stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they've got a massive circle of a cash-making cow there that no one can get involved in,
and no doubt
we pay for it, and then they sell it back to us, and then they sell it all over the world as military paraphernalia.
Yeah, and it's just to get you that buy-in as well, that all these drones are nice and friendly, but they're not that friendly when they're the size of a wasp or something coming into your window.
Yeah, or they're blowing all those people up in Afghanistan like they did.
Yeah, but one thing, going back to the global climate warming nonsense, was that they haven't made by now jets or cars should be able to do tens of thousands of miles on 1 gallon. If you remember in the 80s, can you remember the Volkswagen advert, and it nicely racially had that Japanese guy saying it does 50 gallons to the mile. The Volkswagen Jetta, I think it was.
Right.
Nothing's moved on from there. You know.
No. And what happened to that car that ran Tomorrow's World with orange peel? It ran off orange peel.
Terry's orange.
Yeah. What about? Hey, Fatty, do you remember that? I sent you a video a while ago, and I tracked it down on YouTube, and I remember it from the 80s on Tomorrow's World, and it was a flying dustbin. Do you remember I sent it to you recently?
Yeah, I did.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
And I always thought about it. There's a guy, and they were saying this is the future. And it was a military thing, and he was literally sat in like a dustbin-shaped vehicle, flying across the top of some trees. And you know, when you think, did I dream that, or did I make it up? And I found it on YouTube. I sent it to you, and I think it was called a flying dustbin, but then it just vanished. I mean, God knows what it was propelled by. I mean, he was bombing along, stood in it like a little bin thing. And he would describe it how you moved it, like leaning and all that, and it just vanished.
Yeah, but
it's strange. Again.
Isn't it strange? They've got all this technology, and they've never made it any better, and yet now we're having to go to this other nonsense, electricity, which is just using the same technology. Really, they've got to use the same.
I think this Great Reset nonsense or whatever, I think like this is part of it, because even today I was thinking, I've seen there's loads of electric cars around. And have you seen all the drones, flying cars that they're making now? So they're part of this new world that they're trying to create, which is, and they've basically used the drone technology to make the flying cars. I had a look on YouTube. You can have a look. And
I'm just going to invite Mark in. Mark's waiting. I'm just going to invite Mark in.
Okay. There's like 12 in development now. Hello, Mr. Bajerskis.
You're on mute, mate, I think. You're still on mute, I think. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Hear me now.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Not as good looking as you and your pendant.
You're warmer. And his pearl necklace.
Yeah, exactly. He looks so beautiful.
I'm going to send you a sculpture of him, and I found I used to make angel sculptures. I think I told you, and I'm going to dig one out and send you one of them rather than one of the gory gaping gold ones.
I'd appreciate that, honestly, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Honestly, I've got some, and I've got two really nice ones, and I've never actually had them out for sale. You actually inspired me to put them in my shop. I'm actually going to start trying to sell them as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a worldwide audience if you get them out there, mate. Honestly, I mean, that's why I don't have any shops. I was going to open a flagship store here, and I thought, what's the point when I've got,
point anymore, is
8 billion people, or if there is 8 billion people.
Don't start that one, Mark.
Stop saying it. Stop it.
Yeah, dropping rapidly.
So yeah, we've got to watch us P's and Q's obviously on here. You know that anyway, Matt. You know the score. Because otherwise we'll get.
I don't swear.
Okay. No, not necessarily swearing. They don't mind swearing. Funnily enough, they don't mind swearing. It's people getting run over on the motorbikes and getting squashed and things like
blowing
that.
themselves up, stuff,
blowing themselves up. That's fine. But mention anything anywhere near truth, and
I got 3 videos taken off half an hour ago.
Right?
Did you? What were you talking about? Don't say it.
Health and well-being. Can you imagine how dangerous I am?
You horrible bastard. You horrible bastard, Matt.
I know. Parasite. How dare you?
They're in my head.
Health and well-being. Trying to make people feel good. Oh, God.
So one subject I want to cover, and is that you know, we were talking the other day on that last podcast, Chris, about that comment that we're on. And the only reason I wanted to bring it up, it hadn't offended me. I hope Lance is in as well. I'll send Lance an invite as well if you want to come on, Lance. Let me know. It's party time. No, we can't all agree, but we can take bits off somebody. That doesn't mean to say we're going to agree with everything. And Jacko, a mate of mine, Crab Claws, he explained it that if you buy an album, a music album, and there are 12 songs on it, just because you don't like all the songs doesn't mean to say you don't like the band anymore.
Or even an album. Exactly.
You
don't write them off, do you?
Or if somebody writes a bad book, you don't stop buying the books. You just try another one, you know. And I think a lot of people in our world go to town on everything's got to be what they think, and if it's slightly off, then you're a shill or you're not telling the truth anymore. You're being paid by the CIA and things like that.
You need to explain that a bit better because it was an email, wasn't it? Because people.
He listened to it. We were talking about it yesterday, me and Mark, and I just think that, you know, I just wanted to finish it off really. That's really what we're talking about, and I know Mark will know that because he'll get a load of grief like that as well.
No, never. Talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on quickly. One thing we did talk about was Matthew Mahogany, or Mature Mahogany, Matthew McConaughey, and what I was going to put a picture on here, but I thought I'd better not really put it on. It was a picture of his wife with the green shoes on her knee, and then a bit after she had the green Converse boots on.
She's wearing them, yeah.
She's actually wearing the boots.
I mean, that's all. Even if they were the real ones, it's creepy. But even if they're not the real ones and she's pretending they are, it's still creepy, isn't it? It's weird. What? It's weird that he's in the White House, and it's weird that they're carrying those shoes around with them. Where did they get them from?
Yeah, where? Yeah,
green shoe shop.
the green Converse shoe shop with a heart on, with a drawn heart on. Strange phenomenon, really. Have you seen that picture with them on, Mark?
Yeah. Nothing shocks me anymore, Dom. Chris.
Did you see the video, Mark, of him smiling when he's reading it out?
Yeah. So
what the hell? I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, that guy. I mean, I watched that. I never spotted that, but someone spotted it and put it on YouTube.
I'll tell you something.
Morgan is reading it out and he smiles when he's.
I'll tell you something. I used to read for a lot of A-listers for about 8 years consecutive, and most of my work was on Skype, and they never ever showed the face. So it was basically a blank screen. So I'd psychically read for them. And I knew who I was reading for. I knew who it was who I was reading for, because that's the power of cards. Is pretty, I mean, people think it's bullshit, but it's true. Power of cards. You can see who you're reading for. And when you start to read for A-listers, this is the honest to God's truth. They're a different type of soul. They are only interested in fame and fortune, and they would pull their pants down for anything if it meant that they were going to get higher and more powerful. They would sell their granny. They would find, most of the time they were looking for a sugar daddy. I could go on like this and tell you that I came home after reading for these people, and I'd shake my head and say to, when I was married, so I'd just say, you actually don't even want to know. You don't want to know. It's that. Yeah. No, nearly all of them. All of them have this narcissist. It's a desire a God complex desire to be the most powerful and sought after and loved person in the world, they would spend 12k a month to 50k a month to get themselves on a green carpet. Or is it a red carpet?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that were it. So who should I be? The questions would be, who should I be going with? Should I go with this guy who's 65 years old, who's I won't mention names because it's not important.
Is that that's the kind of questions they're asking you, Mark?
Yeah.
About their
and my work, this is how sick I used to feel. I got to the stage when I said, before I start this reading, I'm going to read for you, and I don't want you to say anything. And I spent 1 hour basically reading spirituality. So I wanted to get through to them instead of the crap that they were just about to ask me 1 hour after. Yeah. And it never worked. It never worked. Not one of them ever stepped into the energy of what I tried to share to help them become the person that they are deep inside. There was something that I can't explain. They're a different makeup to you and me and all the guys watching this. It's unpenetrable to try to get in and get into the heart. Something's happened to them, and the only way most of you guys will know it is they sold their soul. Yes, and that is a true statement, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it. You can see. You can see it though, can't you? You can see it like Mahogany, who got him up there to do all that and rant and do his best acting thing. And then when he says that girl's died, he looks down and smiles. What the hell? Is he just happy that he's got into the White House? What is he smiling about? Is it real or is it just an illusion? Who knows? And just quickly, sorry, Matt. I had a reading once you just reminded me when I was in London. I moved to London when I was like 18. And I'd heard about this psychic guy and I can't remember his name. Anyway, someone said to me, you can do it over the phone. So I phoned him. I spoke to him for a while and then he said, I'll send you a tape down. And he sent me a reading on a tape. Bloody hell, it blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Yeah, he even knew we were mixed race, Dom. He said, because he said it in this way. He said, I don't want to shock you, but you're not 100% English stock. Because he'd never seen me, so he didn't know. He didn't know that I knew even. He thought maybe it could have been like one of those skeletons in the cupboard.
Did he mention your nostrils?
Yeah, I tell you what, Chris, you can actually rip that to shreds as well if you're a skeptic. You can say that everybody's got mixed blood.
Right, but he's quite
to me, a psychic is somebody who can say something that nobody else could possibly know about your life, and they couldn't find it on. What I used to do is because to me it was more like it wasn't fun. It was more like I wanted to get to the science of it. Is this real? So I used to say, and anybody who knows me has had a reading with me, I never asked for the name ever.
Right.
And then I actually didn't want to see the face, so I used to close my eyes. And then I used to read and then close my eyes and finish the reading, and then they'd tell me. They'd say, okay, wow, wow, amazing. I'd say, okay, great. I didn't know what I was saying. I was channeling.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm a hero and I've got a gift. We've all got it. We've all got it.
I've seen about 6, Mark, and 2 really blew me away.
Exactly.
When I was a kid, 2 really.
A lot of them are just playing a game. But some are really serious and want to help people. Not about, I'm talking about helping, genuinely want to help you from an issue you've got with your brother, your business partner, your life path, the sadness that you've got. If you can find something that they never saw, it's life-changing. But like I say, a lot of them are just players.
I think some of them believe. Do you think some of them believe that they can do it, and they're just
a lot of them do believe they can do it, and actually it becomes like a godlike syndrome. It takes over them, and you actually it's like they really believe.
By the way, everybody, this is totally off the cuff. Mark wasn't coming on tonight, were you, Mark?
Sorry, mate. I just got excited.
No,
it's brilliant.
This is brilliant. This is what I wanted.
I got excited.
Yeah.
Oh, you two are on and it's live. What an amazing thing.
I can't believe we're actually doing it. I can't believe it's got to this point from a year ago when we...
You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. I don't think you realize how you two
One of us is.
No, you're great. And the more you drink, mate, the better you become.
The better he thinks he becomes.
Dom says it just get louder towards the end.
Yeah, it just gets louder. Fog on. Yeah, but it's interesting you're saying about these Hollywood or whatever personalities, celebrities, whatever we want to call them, that they're implanted in our lives from a young age, and we even grew up with these people. Like I'll use Robbie Williams or someone like that. You know, you grow up with these people, so you get old with these people, and so they're ingrained into your psyche, aren't they?
Yeah, programming.
Like an old song.
We're all programmed, mate. All of us. You know, when we accept that, then we can do something about it.
Yeah. Well, we have done something about it. We you know, not just us three, but people in the chat and where have you, they've all stepped away from that life. They realise, don't they? And it's only a small percentage of us, sadly, but we do. And it's just like we were talking about the Jubilee and the meaning of the word Jubilee. And I think we looked into it the other day where it meant a reset. When you look back, when you wind it back to what it actually meant, it actually means a reset. So it got me on thinking, what does platinum mean? And we were talking yesterday about that, Mark. I mean, Chris have been talking this week about it. I mean, a platinum record is successful. It's a smash hit. That's what platinum. But platinum is obviously a chemical, a silvery white metal. And we were talking about the sun being now silvery white and not yellow. And we've got a platinum jubilee or a silver white reset, if we think.
Possibly a platinum sun.
Possibly a platinum sun, which the platinum logo, I'll put it up now. That's the platinum symbol, sorry.
Which to me looks like the sun, the moon, the sun, and then something orbiting the sun.
Well, the moon, yeah, the moon. That's a definite Jordan Maxwell topic.
Yeah.
That is the kind of bottom of the moon is what everybody wears on top of the head. That is a cultish type of symbolism what they all used to worship, right? They used to wear it on the head like the Saxons and stuff.
Yeah, I mean this is, you know, this isn't made up. These are real sort of symbols that are in our minds all the time, aren't they? And is it a coincidence that the Queen has a platinum jubilee right at the end of this nonsense that we've been living through? Is that the end of that? Is that the celebration to end it all?
And the beginning of something else, yeah.
The beginning of something else. Also, I did a bit of looking into it, and platinum is actually used in electrical contacts and industrial catalysts. Yeah. So they use platinum in electrical circuit components. Now, if you think about the arm spear that people have been speared with, and as an electrical component, then all of a sudden, I looked up, do they use platinum in nanotech? And the answer to that is yes.
They do. In the arm spear then, Fi?
I don't know if it's in the arm spear.
But we don't know what's in the arm spear, do we?
They do use, look, platinum nano.
Right.
So I'm only hypothesizing here. I'm not saying it is, but it's mixed with PEG, which I know there was some plastic in the arm spear. PEG is polythene, basically. So that encapsulates the particles and takes it into, and they're utilising this as a anti-cancer treatment.
Yeah, that was another story, wasn't it? That the if you'd had the Pfizer arm spear, it was because it was originally a drug for the big C. People who'd had the Pfizer jibby jab, it were curing the cancer.
Right. Nita Malta there was saying the Obelix Towers is full of platinum, 1 kilogram in each tower, apparently.
Really? What the one in London, in Italy, and in France?
You'll have to come clean with that, Rob.
That's odd, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, platinum. When you start looking into these things, there is obviously a link. It's not called the Platinum Jubilee just by chance, is it?
Yeah. Let me just tell Mark this. Just talking about Obelisk yesterday, we did one with Jonathan from Huddersfield, Halstead in Huddersfield. And we were talking, what was that place he was telling us about in Huddersfield, though?
Oh, I've forgotten now.
I've got it written down. Sorry.
It's in Tomlin, actually.
Studley Pike in Tomlin. Is that right? He was telling us about this building, and he said it was Masonic because it had Masonic writing in it. So we were talking, and I've usually got a pad here, and I'm usually doodling as we're talking. And he's telling me about Studley Pike in Tomlin, and I'm doodling, and I drew this, if you can see it. That little thing there. And then when we finished, Dom sent me a picture of Studley Pike in Tomlin, and it was exactly the same as my picture. What the hell is that about?
Tuning. Yeah, I say you don't need a phone, mate. You can just talk to each other.
I showed my missus, and she said even the shading's the same, and the base of it's the same.
Amazing.
It wasn't just the.
Brilliant.
It was very peculiar. It was just like, my God, even the shading and the base is exactly the same as the picture that Dom sent me.
I used to be an auctioneer, and then after I got a shop, 2 shops, I got a warehouse, and this warehouse was underground from a big building, which was 4 stories. So it was basically the basement, and it was nice, clean, and warm. On the other side, there was kind of like I don't know what it was. It kind of fancy, and it had a plaque on, and I never really even looked at it. But every now and again, when I used to go into the to get some stock, I used to hear this. And I said, what the hell's that? And then I used to hear like loads of talking and like somebody was like shouting and so I got some step ladders and I got my ears right up to the ceiling, and I realized it was live Masonic. I was actually underneath a Masonic lodge.
Right.
Wow.
And I used to listen to this stuff. I used to listen to what was going on, because I was so free. But this is the truth. It's actually quite freaky, and it actually sends shivers down your spine when you're listening to it. And I said, this is wrong. This is wrong. And I'm sorry if somebody's into Masonic, whatever you got from it. But I'm telling you, the energy of Masonic is not positive, in my humble opinion.
You were in that world then, were you, Mark? So
no, not at all. But I tell you, I could feel it. And it felt like the day I found a book called The Golden Dawn, and I opened it, I started reading it. I shut it really quickly and thought, this is dangerous.
Oh, that's the Crowley one, isn't it? The Golden Dawn.
Yeah, I got a story about that, mate. It'll blow you away about that. You away.
Well, tell us right.
Studley Pike has Masonic symbolism on the top of it.
Well, it's a blooming, literally a Masonic structure, isn't it?
Jonathan was saying it's sort of planted in the ley lines.
He said it, and he said as you walk in, it's dark, and then you go up the stairs, and then it turns light, which is literally like the Masonic ritual of stepping out of the dark into the light.
Yeah, exactly. It's all symbolic. Everything. This isn't by accident. All ley lines are connected to all the most important buildings, like churches. Even if you go underneath most of the churches, the big churches, most of them, if you go underneath the big dome and stand under it, you'll feel the energy.
Yeah.
Well, energy which is so powerful.
Symbolic of the pregnant woman, isn't it? Because
it is, but the way they've made it is so that they've made it so that dome is directly to the point of the cross where the ley lines meet. It's phenomenal, but they know, just like they know that that stuff that they waff about, that stuff, when you come to understand it, you realize
the incense around.
That incense is called frankincense, and if you know anything about frankincense, the Catholic Church buys all the best, the most pure of frankincense, because that's another story that I could talk to you about that for an hour. But I'm telling you, it's a powerful. They're not stupid. These people are not stupid.
What are the properties of the frankincense, Mark?
I could talk about this all night, but
on a very general level, what's it supposed to do?
It heightens people's awareness, but it also can dampen certain energies within the body as well.
Right.
So it's a dual energy.
Would you say it's a controlling thing?
It can be if somebody's chanting to you.
Right. Right. From a frequency point of view.
It's
why do you think the church has an echo? It's been
created as an energetic frequency. So when they speak, it vibrates like a tuning fork, and it basically, when you know what church means anyway, church is basically and the ancient woman who used to bring people into a house and feed from their body. And that's what church means, basically.
Cannibalism.
It takes you, well, that's exactly what it is. It feeds from your body. So the church feeds from you, takes your money, it takes your energy.
Do you think at one time, though, these cathedrals and churches were for good, and then they got hijacked by these people? Because...
I don't know.
No, I mean, we'll never know because history's been hijacked, hasn't it? I don't believe. I walked through Cambridge where I live. I was down there the other day at 7 o'clock. I was working, and I couldn't get in the building, so I thought I'd go and have a look at the architecture, and it's amazing. And you just think it's like there was another age that we do not know anything about, and the art and the attention to detail is just stunning. And you just think this must have been a good thing, that they were doing. It must have had so much time and energy that they were doing.
Or it's a spider's web enticing you in.
Well, there is that. But what I would think on instinct is like the pyramids, right? Is it was built for a reason, and it was built with good energy, and then it got hijacked thousands of years later.
You need Don Tolman. You need to get Don Tolman on. I swear to God, you need to get Don Tolman on.
Don.
His knowledge of ancient scripture, and he's got a photographic memory. His story is incredible. Some people will pull him down and say all sorts of BS, but I've been with him. I've worked with him. This guy is a genius. And when he tells you he knows everything about ancient Egypt, nearly everything.
Right,
if you and my partner went there with him, and when you look at all the carvings on the wall, most of them haven't a clue how to read them. But he explains that when you are at a certain angle of these writings, it all becomes evident, and he shows you how to do it. So most people don't know how to read what are they called? Hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics, yeah.
Most people don't know how to read them, but he shows you, and there's a certain way. I won't spoil it. If you can get him on, he's a wealth of information about ancient Egypt, and he'll blow you away, guys.
That'd be interesting.
What was it, Don or Dom Tolman?
Don Tolman, Tolman. Okay. And honestly, guys, he's for me, he's the go-to, but his genius doesn't only go to that. It goes to health and well-being. And I won't tell you what he used to be, but he knows his stuff more than most.
I've read that the hieroglyphics are not like because we try to decipher them as writing, don't we? It's a feeling. So you look at that picture.
It's spiritual, mate.
And it spiritually drags you in, yeah.
It's spiritual.
But what we're trying to translate them, like that's an A, that's a B, that's a B. It doesn't work like that, yeah.
Exactly.
Chris, stop moving up and down on your mic.
All right. What do you mean? I didn't touch it.
No.
Moving away.
Yeah. Stay away from it.
He's always bollocking about it.
But Mark says, get Chris a new microphone. I said, have you noticed we've sorted his sound out tonight? We sorted his mic out tonight, Mark. And,
I was going to actually say something. I did say something, and I thought actually his mic sounds pretty good tonight.
Yeah.
No, it was yesterday. We did one with Jonathan, and he said press his button, and it seemed to work. I think.
Tell me about it. I'm always pressing the wrong buttons all the time.
Yeah. I'm shy with technology. If I'm honest,
too.
I'm really bad.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what do you think about our friend Justin Bieber?
Do you think there's he's going Leeds Bradford, as you say?
Yeah.
It's just madness. It's the world's gone mad, right? The world's gone mad.
We're living in an insane asylum, aren't we?
Insane asylum.
Clown house. It's a clown house.
So he's got this apparently, and a few years ago he apparently had Lyme.
Do you think he's been
arm speared?
3-dart finish for?
Well, he had his concert. They wouldn't allow people in without it being a strict age, which means young people probably. Jib Jab mandate for his Justice World Tour, which is a bit ironic of a name, isn't it? I mean, if you look at him here, he just looks absolutely smashed off his head constantly, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, if there's someone who's down for
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra, yeah, he's him, innit? He's one of those. I feel sorry for him, to be honest. Whenever I see him, I just feel sorry for him. I don't look at him and think he's horrible or anything. Some of these people, like you said about, I just feel bad for him. Some of them just look like they've been.
That's us though. But they wouldn't think twice about stepping on you or Mark or any of these people listening either. They'd just stand all over you. And Mark will say this, and we've all met people. I've met people in business that'll just look straight through you. And a very similar sort of process to these celebs.
Yeah, not just look through you, look for something that they can use within you. They're looking for something that they can get from you that will improve them. But that's it. That's the whole lot. I mean, I went to LA and I put a message out there and I said, "Hi guys," on Facebook. "Hi guys, I'm coming to LA for the first time. I'd love to see you all. I'll be at Laurel Canyon if you want to say hi." Right? Not one single person that I read for in LA contacted me. Not one single person.
They didn't want to meet you
most of the people that I read for never, ever paid me a single dollar. They all expected it free. But that was my young age. I was just wanting to do this. I was kind of excited, and then you realise they're just soul suckers. They're just soul suckers, mate. So that's why I have no time for it.
Do you think as well? Do you think though, Matt, they didn't want to meet you because your intuition would see straight through the bullshit?
No, they didn't want to meet me because I retired.
Right.
You should have seen the grief I got when I said I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
But the whole point of me going to LA and saying that, the energy in LA is like, "Hi, how you doing? Really well. What do you do?" Nothing. I've retired. Okay, see you later.
All right. So it's just like vampire country.
I don't mean to generalize, but that is when you get it's a kind of millennial type of energy. And if you know much about millennials, it's just business focus, and I need to get to the top. And it's kind of, for me, it's kind of sickening. It's like there is no real love there at all. It's just programmed, I don't know. Like I said, there's different types of spirituality. You've got your mind valley energy that is just, you can make it, power of making money, and that it's all been hijacked, mate. Every aspect of spirituality has been hijacked. So you've just got to listen to your gut feeling and go with you. But if you go with other people and bow down to them and listen to them, you're going to be sadly disappointed, because most of them are actually not what they preach. In fact, what they need to do is listen to what they're preaching.
We've talked about that quite a lot, about the fact that no one follows their instincts anymore.
No, they don't. They follow others.
We're reliant on government and whatever. Instead of following your heart, everyone just. Well, I mean, look at the last 2 years. I mean, that was totally evident of exactly that.
Prime example, Chris. Yeah. Prime example of the handing over of your sovereignty to experts.
Yeah.
But that's been done over time, hasn't it? It weren't just 2 years ago that people did it. It was slowly but surely, bite by bite, a generational thing. Our parents handed over theirs, they handed over us, we handed over our children, and it just follows on. And nobody dare admit that they've made a mistake.
Yeah. And this was like the
people outside this ring of people, sorry. Yeah.
The last few years was like, as we say, the Chuck Norris roundhouse kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of all that build-up of jab, jab, jab. Whoosh.
Yeah, exactly. Jab was probably the operative word, Chris. And then we've got the this story here that you sent me over, where there was a lady. I didn't want to show a picture down there because she'd had her arm, fingers, hand removed or whatever.
That was weird. I mean, I've never seen that before done. That was So he was in Cambridge, this man, and this woman had. I just found it really shocking. And the interesting thing is, from local newspapers, you actually find a bit more depth into them, don't you? Because these, the local,
it's a local story, isn't it?
And then they're trying to get the name on it and whatever. But this woman had all the fingers amputated on one hand, I think on the second hand as well, and now she was in for a leg amputating, and she was only 34.
But look at what the headline says: medical miracle.
Well, if getting both your hands cut off and your leg is a miracle, but
isn't that a deception? That's deliberately. That's a deception. Deliberately, it's sidetracking you. It's a sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like all of them words are
No, exactly.
It's just bad. All of it's just bad news.
baffling.
Yet we're telling you it's a miracle.
It's a miracle. Yeah,
It's
miracle
exactly
she's
that.
been
It's
spliced.
baffling. It's baffling how people will look at it and say, "Oh yeah, that's amazing, bless her."
But also,
Go on,
even
sorry,
before
Chris.
the nonsense, Don, we were talking about the rising sepsis. Now,
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it. I mean, and all of a sudden,
Look at
even a
that.
couple of years before,
Yeah.
1 in 5 people die now due to sepsis. I did some.
but sepsis is blood poisoning. When you cut yourself, you can get sepsis, or but now it's just rife.
Chris, it's what people used to get when they were at war. Yeah,
exactly.
When
In a trench.
they didn't get the leg treated for weeks or whatever, and they got crap in it, bits of shell and shrapnel. That's when they got something like that. They got blood poisoning, or if they had an operation and it went whatever badly, because they've been in an accident. That's when they got. But I thought, right, how many people actually get this worldwide? It affects around 50 million people every year, and at least, listen to the number, 11 million die. One death every 2.8 seconds from it.
Has it increased, Fatty, over?
I'm going to come to that. Listen to this.
Right.
So it's got so in England in 2001, men and women, this is just England, there were 1,684 deaths. In 2010, there were 1,935. In 2017, there were 2,399. That's just England. Right. So the rate of increase is huge.
And these hospitals
really double.
Yeah. They should be getting more sanitary, surely, so they should be getting less.
Well, it's obviously something. It's not to do with that, is it? It's something else from inside, not from outside. But anyway,
when did the figures go up to fight? Just 2017. They're not going any further than that.
I did a quick look. I didn't go into any depth, but
what I mean is, have they not released the figures for the last 3 years?
Not the last 3 years, but you can guarantee that after what's happening, like this lady.
Well, I mean, that actually tells you it's gone up, hasn't it? So
yeah, but it's interesting and shocking at the same time. Surprising though.
I spoke to a woman I worked in the middle of lockdown. I was working in a care home, and she said her son-in-law had died of sepsis.
Somebody's just said on there, his mate's daughter, after she got Britney Spears, she got sepsis.
Right. And this woman said
that.
Said her son-in-law died of sepsis, right? And I said, well, how did they die of sepsis? Well, he went into hospital and he weren't feeling very well, and he ended up with sepsis. And I said, but what did he die of? What was the? And she wouldn't tell me. She goes, oh, he just died of sepsis, and that was it. And I'm like, well, it didn't work like that, does it? So there's something else going on there,
Yeah.
And that was before the nonsense. So yeah, but he died in his 20s or something.
Yeah, and so it's definitely something. There was another story out this week that Boris Johnson's old teacher, and I didn't put it back up. We covered this in that Boris Johnson one, Chris. One of his old teachers is to try and extradite him back to South Africa because he got sent down for being a nimbler. I'll try and dig that picture out actually because it's a better picture. But I
remember that Ashdown House,
yeah. And I forget his name now. A minute, I'll get his picture. Anyway, we'll move on.
That sepsis story's got a lot of attention on the chat there, Fi.
Right.
It's obviously something that because it's a word that people have never heard of. It just came out of nowhere. Even before the nonsense came out of nowhere over the last 5 or 6 years, didn't it?
Well, it is actually. So let me get this picture up of this weirdo. Because what we're interested about this is it's actually a picture or a story that we covered, and now it's playing out. So ex-76-year-old teacher who taught Boris is fighting his extradition. He was there at the same time as Johnson. We covered that. But this, we didn't know about this guy. Look at the state of him.
Has he got sepsis?
I don't know what he's got. These are the freaks, Mark.
I just also think that as we get older, we kind of, I think a lot of people lose their energy to actually, they can't be asked.
Do you think they've been drained? They've been drained.
I don't know. I just think a lot of people kind of, it's not like, I know a guy who in Huddersfield, who used to train at Fitness First, and he was Susie's uncle, and he was in his 70s, and he was fitter than anybody in that gym. Right, he used to go like 7 times a week. He'd train. He got a fantastic body, but I think a lot of us just let it go. We turn to the booze. We eat the crap, and well, I'm at age now. I don't care. I'll eat and drink what I want. Well, guess what?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Guess what?
That's what happens. Our friend was back in the. I wanted to cover something else on sepsis, but I'll leave it because it were about EMFs and stuff like that. I don't think that'll last on here, so we'll talk about that when we discuss something on our own service, Chris.
It's difficult to talk about anything, Dom.
Seriously,
it's got to stage. It's 1984 right now. We're in the pages of 1984. This is the thought police. I mean,
and when you think about it, Mark, how it's creeped up, and now it's just a normal thing to go. We can't mention this.
Did you hear this new AI technology from the guy from Google saying that it's? Yeah. Did you read it?
Yeah.
It's actually alive. It's actually there is something within that. That is kind of freaky, guys. I don't know whether they put that out there for whatever reason. They want people to start to,
I would guess that if they're saying that now, it's already out there. And they're just testing the water to see what the reaction is.
I mean, if they're talking about consciousness, I mean, consciousness to me, is, you look at an individual drop of water and you look at the ocean. And if I take one drop of water out, then that's your spirit within you. And I can feel you. I can communicate with that spirit. I can tell you who you are by feeling your spirit. But can that drop of water go into AI technology, into a robot, into, I'm sorry, mate, but I'm going to have to draw the line at some point.
There's a woman called Suzanne Gildert, and I've had videos up there, and she actually admits to being a demon worshipper.
Right, there's loads, yeah.
But she's
what kind of demons? Because there's a lot of different demon worshippers.
But she's an AI specialist who works for these massive companies, and she's worth literally hundreds of millions anyway. But she develops robots, the technology robots, and I got a short enough video to put it on, to be honest with you. But she says there should be new laws for robots, because of their emotions, and in the future there will be. So she's
But what about if it's just technology that we've created that then becomes what we've created, rather than saying it's consciousness?
I would hazard to guess you're right there, Matt. I think.
Listen, when you understand about consciousness, when you understand about spirit, you know that it's in every flower, every animal, every being on this planet, every fruit, every vegetable, but it has a signature. It has a signature that you can't create that in a lab. It's impossible. It's impossible. You can't mess with that, because
I 100% agree with you, Mark. I think.
So do I.
I think they want to believe that they can do that.
They want us to believe.
Because
if they can if they look at every single Hollywood movie that they've brought out, it's always about love the robot.
Terminator.
It's got a consciousness. It's lovely. Let's marry it. Come on. This
even
R2-D2.
Even Terminator went from killing machine to Arnie going into the lava with his thumb up. I totally agree with you. I think the fact that was in the news and the Google guy, blah, 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 whatever, tells me that it's bullshit, if I'm honest. And they're selling it to us. That's it.
It's the sales pitch, and it's the greatest sales pitch forever. And if you can sack somebody or suspend them, that's even more. you know, getting you in
Why is it in the
suspenders,
news? Why is it in the news? And
Of course
also,
it is.
it's totally Luciferian. I mean, that they can create a being with consciousness. They can't.
They can't.
And
no.
who's to say the guy doesn't actually believe it? He might believe it. He might believe it. He might be he might have thought, "Oh, this is real," but it's all bullshit, mate. I'm telling you, it's all bullshit.
I
all
100%
of it.
agree with you. I could be proved wrong, but I 100% agree. Yeah.
But whatever consciousness they say is consciousness in these robots or AI is manufactured. It's not real.
That's it. Exactly.
It's not real.
Yeah. So humans have made it. So who says?
Yeah. And not only that, Mark, that the people who are making it, have they got consciousness? Are they developing something like them that they actually think is consciousness?
That's a great point.
You know, a lot of these people are without
so
it.
when they communicate back to it, their only understanding is who they are. So, it's just like me. It's got a conscious. It's of course it has, mate.
Well,
yeah,
and also with
take your tablets. You're missing your tablets.
And also, and it's funny, right?
Satan Valley, Silicon Valley.
What I was thinking
Malta.
What I was thinking was, so there's a big hoo-ha over this thing's got a consciousness. First of all, I don't think it has. Second of all, who gives a fuck? I mean, there's a lot worse things going on in the world. Should we give it rights and get it a lawyer? And no, who gives a fuck? There's far worse things going on in the world right now than worrying about some robot's consciousness that they might have created.
Isn't that what it's meant to do, Chris? Where people are having, I suppose we're talking about it now, a pointless conversation about this, like the LGBT thing and all the other nonsense, that they're having a pointless conversation about it. And
it doesn't matter.
But over time, when kids go to school, you know, I'll run a scenario. My youngest at school, he says, "Do you think this is a bit sexist, Dad?" Bear in mind, he's 11, right? Yeah. So even he's noticing this nonsense.
That
he said, "The girls are playing football with us, right? Which is fair enough. He's not bothered about that. But then they're allowed to play, I don't know what day, on a Wednesday, on their own, and they can't play."
Right.
Yeah.
So he knows that's sexist against males.
Yeah, I don't think it takes a brain surgeon to figure out that the world's messed up.
Inverted. Definitely.
But you know what you think, Dom, what you were saying, which was really interesting, the fact that if you can create this AI technology as a sentient being, as a humanoid or a consciousness, then you're gonna kind of like find out that if you start believing in that, then don't hurt the robots. The robots deserve a job. And actually, I'm sorry guys, you've lost your jobs, but the robots are now taking over. But they've all got consciousness, so it's okay. You see where this is going?
Well, I read a story today. Somebody, Lorraine sent me some information. Who always sends me loads of information in, that farmers are going to get paid to use robots, subsidies, but not their workers.
That's what.
So where's that going?
Exactly what I'm talking about. This has been happening anyway. I mean, and where to blame? Like, be honest. How many of you guys out there have gone to a machine and used your card instead of lining up with a queue of people where there's a woman taking your money at the supermarket or a store? Be honest.
I'm guilty of that, Mark. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, because you know why? Because we all want things easier. So we are the destructor of our own lives, and we're all hypocrites, and we have to realize that. And when we realize that, we say enough is enough, and we're not doing that no more.
Yeah. To be honest, though, Matt, I kind of half disagree because I'm not really into tech. I don't have loads of technology. I'm not really into it. But what I mean is if you think of it from a positive world where that stuff exists, and it's not being forced on you, because I don't want to sound like I'm not a Luddite, but it could be good, couldn't it, that we don't work so much, and everyone lives in like that paper version of communism. It could be a nice world where everything, and the jobs would open up in other worlds, in other ways, So it's not. I don't know.
It's just a sad thing that there is not. If they wanted to put their efforts,
it's malicious. It's done for malicious reasons.
Yeah. If they wanted to put their efforts in stopping starvation and whatever they want to call it, poverty is caused by money, right? That's it. It's caused by money. So if they could wrap that up in seconds, literally seconds, by that.
Like for instance, no, sorry. No, but what I mean is, take
excited, man.
No, but everyone goes on about the getting rid of cash and getting rid of money, right? If it was done for the right reasons, no one would give it. It wouldn't matter, would it? That'd be fine. But it's done so it can track
But
you.
that's what they
see
do,
you
though.
spend
That
your money on.
you hand over your trust, which
Yeah.
is an interesting word, to these people. That then they're abusers, so they utilise that trust for their own nefarious reasons, and that is what we've done. We were talking on Rise Above last time, Chris, about everything's free. You know, Google's free to search on, Twitter's free, Instagram, all these things are free, and we become the product then, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
We become the
If
product.
all this technology was used for from someone
The
who
good of
loves,
humanity.
exactly, loves everybody and wants to spread the.
What do people say? If it's free, then you're the product. You're we see.
There is no free lunch, is there?
Like, but the thing is, we've grown up like that. You know, if there's something cheaper, then most people's attitude is, I'll go for the cheaper one because the other one's too expensive and they're ripping us off. When you really truly look at things, when you pay for something and you've saved up for it, then it's going to last you longer, and it's most likely going to serve you better than buying something for nothing or getting it for nothing. There's always something, in my opinion, that like, okay, let me think about that, because I used to be the opposite. I used to think, go for the cheaper version, but now I don't. As I'm getting older, I think I'm just going to save up a bit longer and get, like this mic. I could have got a cheaper version like yours, Chris.
You talking? What the fuck is your two's problem about my mic?
we could have got that. It's a good job we ain't got a good one. It'd have been even louder.
I get so much.
I didn't know they had
well.
second-hand shops where you live. Got to close down.
You're in cahoots with that bastard, aren't you?
Really, he's got an old can under that, and he's put a mic cover over it.
He's got a can with his piece of string coming
bean
out of it.
can, yeah.
Going all the way over to Spain to talk to Mike.
Anyway, before we, this guy's been back in news, talking of parasites.
Yeah. Oh, he's a twat, isn't he?
Oh, you can't make it up.
And Prince Andrew stayed out of the way. Funnily enough, so what we're doing now, and then comes back to this total inversion, doesn't it? Where they're knighting him for whatever he's done for that.
What's he done?
The knighthood is it's quite interesting as well. What the type it is. He's basically a mass murderer who signed off to kill over 1 million people, most of them innocent people, I would say. Yeah. And then they're knighting him. And there's people outside protesting against the knighthood and Prince Andrew. And nobody shows that on the good old BBC. Yeah. No one. And it would be interesting to look at some of these characters that are in this. I mean, look at that.
I mean,
that's the knighthood he got, the Order of the Garter, it's called.
The dark clothing is symbolic as well, like Darth Vader, and it's all symbolic.
They're always in black, aren't they? Oh,
yeah. He's got the Order of the Garter. You can see the badge there.
Yeah.
That badge there is the same badge. He's also one of them. There he is at the World Economic Forum.
Do you know some of those? I think we've
look at this cloak, though. Look at that cloak. That's what they wear.
Nice. I mean, can you imagine going to some thing? I mean, that's the what is it in it? The Crusaders Cross.
Crusaders Cross, yeah. Knights of Malta. Esoteric Knights of Malta is going to be into that one.
I mean, and the even the thing going around it, it looks like the snake swallowing its tail, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's not, but it looks like it.
Yeah, that looks like its head at the bottom. Doesn't
I mean, they've always got that Maltese cross, and that's the one that's always got me. So they wear the Maltese cross. The Nazis wear the Maltese cross. The Pope wears it. They all wear that same.
Where's Jordan Maxwell when you need him?
I know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Just a quick one, Chris, before you jump in. Yeah. That Order of the Garter, which he got, the most noble Order of the Garter, which was founded by Edward III, who is a relation of Johnny Depp. That's the king that Johnny Depp was related to.
Right.
So he made that in 1348.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think there's 25, well, meant to be Knights of the Garter,
Right.
of the Cross, St George, and it's part of the St George's Chapel, and there's 25 founder knights because that's what the original order was set up with, and one of them's Prince William and Andrew,
and it's the
so, and now B. Liar.
Yeah.
So
madness.
yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
madness.
Yeah. But I mean, that cross is used for everything. I mean, and we all celebrate. Well, I'm saying we all. I don't. St George's Day. Hey, St George's Day. No one has a fucking clue what it's about.
Well,
But
the
then look at
cross, the cross in the circle is one of the oldest symbolisms of all time.
Yeah.
The cross, yeah. Or you could even look at it as an X in the Xbox, which is pure evil. It depends how you use it, because they use it in, like you've seen the 666 everywhere in all different Disney and so many other things. The ice cream, you've seen the ice cream of the pedophile ice cream symbolism.
The Walls one.
It's everywhere. It's all over. It's in his face, but people just say, no, it's not.
And it literally says in the Bible it's about symbols, and
it's all about symbols. That's why, if Jordan was still with us, it would be nice it would have been lovely to have him on this screen telling us all that knowledge that is now lost. Heartbreaking, to be honest.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like him, but you know what?
I liked him. He taught me a lot of
truth.
Did I tell you, just funnily, I think we mentioned it yesterday, was on one of our podcasts. I listened to an old one with him and Mike Williams, Jordan Maxwell. And Mike Williams said to him, so do you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel? And he says, it's not a light, it's a fucking train.
So the old ones are the good ones, eh?
It's a train coming towards you.
But guess what? B. Liar's kids now are also into coming to the nepotism part as well, because his son has become one of the wealthy entrepreneurs with now his company called Multiverse is apparently worth 1.4 billion, and he's part of a company that's educating children.
Brainwashing them. You mean?
Matt, you can't make this shit up, can you?
No, you can't. Keep it in the family, mate.
So he's just been handed a cash key of nothing to do nothing.
One thing that he teaches all of us is that there's one law for us and one law for them, and we're just the low hanging fruit, basically. That's
apparently it's worth 1.7 billion, not 1.4 anyway. It was called before. He only found in 2016 he founded this company. So in 6 years it's now worth 1.4 or 1.7 billion.
Of course it was.
Yeah. And it was worth it was called White Hat before mental man. It was called White Hat, providing apprenticeships for school leavers.
Grab
young global school leavers.
Grab them while they're young.
And it was invested in initially with $4 million by an investment company called Lightspeed Venture Partners, and it's now had about 400 million put into it. That's where they get the valuation from.
Yeah, I wonder where from.
Well, this Lightspeed venture capitalists, I mean, I didn't go deep into it, but they invest in all sorts of different areas, especially in Israel, by the looks of it as well.
Right.
So then they just decided to invest in Tony Blair's son.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, and he's an MBE now as well for his services to education.
Right. Of course he is. Yeah.
Brilliant.
His dad's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
I wonder what he thinks. I wonder what he thinks on a night when he sees all the tweets about when his dad may tweet something, and I wonder what people. I wonder what the young lad must think.
Just as he nestles his head on that pillow.
No, but seriously, I mean, if everybody was saying like around your area, your dad's a bit of you're like, you feel a bit, like the people who say your dad's weird, and say, yeah, he is.
Well, they did about
kind of like upset me a little bit, right? But imagine if the whole world is saying that the guy should be put into prison, he's a criminal, he should be charged for war crimes. But this guy seems to be like,
But also, Matt, what about
it's
Tony
incredible.
Blair? Tony Blair, when he gets his jammers on, brushes his teeth, and puts
that's not a nice thought, that, Chris. Chris, that isn't a nice thought.
No, but I mean,
when he's laying next to Jimmy Blair,
as his face is nestled into his cotton pillows,
and a lot of the times,
a million people.
A lot of the times when you see people's energy and you read it like I do, you can clearly see that there's something else intertwined into that person's psyche and spirit and soul. And it's not a healthy, it's not good, and it's very dark. And you can see that with a lot of them. And that's why they start to age much quicker when they're more possessed. It's a kind of possession. But
well, they do, Matt. If you look at Obama, Blair, all these presidents, it's like they age 20 years in a year, don't they?
It's like the Star Wars guy, isn't it?
There's something you need to look into that, because there's something in it.
Like the Emperor, the Sith thing.
Exactly.
Obama looked like the youngest 40-year-old you'd ever seen, and all of a sudden he was grey, wizened, he had lines.
Yeah, it's almost like if you sell your soul, then you're going to have to give something up. It's a bit like when you see the films on magic. If you do magic, then there's always going to be something, a price that your hand. It's the same kind of energy, I think. Yeah, and I do believe. I told you, I picked up the Golden Dawn, and I started reading that book, and it freaked me out, and I threw it in the bin, and I knew that could actually pull people in and bring them into a dark energy. If you know anything about Ouija board, that's the same energy. It can pull you in and it can suck you, and you can end up being crazy for the rest of your life.
Well, so me and my mates tried the Ouija board when we were kids.
It's not good. It's not good, mate. There's certain things that are not good.
Well, as soon as it told me something that was true, everyone gave up. I mean, we were literally doing it in a barn once, in our barn in Huddersfield, and it told us there's me and my mates, we're all a bit pissed, and we'd gone out or whatever. In fact, you know what? It could even be so coincidental that Dom had been out with you. I don't know. But he came home and we were in the barn we tried it. We got all the numbers and we were trying to, and it said some true stuff and we were freaked out. And then we heard Dom pull down in his car, come through the barn singing, da, 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 and he turned all the lights out. And we were like, fuck. I don't know if I ever told you that, though. There was like 6 of us in the barn doing the Ouija board, and anyway, we only did it once or twice. But
yeah, it's scary stuff, mate. I've tried to help people who've been addicted to it.
But if you think about
I could see how people could get addicted to it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad, mate. It's bad. If I told you some of the stories that happened to some of my clients, it's bad. And you do get attachments. You can
possession.
Attachments.
The Ouija board was actually made by Waddingtons at some point, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not. Yeah.
Waddingtons actually produced the Ouija board as a spiritual game, and then they banned it because people were fucking killing themselves and going nuts.
Well, absolutely. But I did the Ouija board when I was a kid with my mate, and he hung himself about 5 years after.
Right.
After that, and he was never the same.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't.
I actually ran out. I ran out of the room. I was seeing what was going on, and I ran out of the room, and I knew something bad was in that room, and I ran out. Never went back since.
If anybody sums up possession, B. Liar sums up possession. And he was one of the people, when we did the research on him, that you felt like you literally had to go and have a shower after you'd done that. This was about his early life. But again, his genealogy, he's a relation of the royal family, he's related to Charlemagne, Emperor of Rome, all this type of stuff. He's illegitimately related. So, and that's what you tend to find with all these people. They're all bastards, if you like, illegitimate people who come from a weird area. It's always generally the mother's genealogy that links them to all this stuff. And then they're always placed in a position somewhere that they're around guys like that guy who had his shorts on, sat on that bench. And Blair had several people around him at both schools, his first school and his second school, that were known to be. One of them was his mentor, for fuck's sake. They're telling me he escaped all 4. There's just no way possible. One of them comforted him while his dad were ill, and the other was his mentor.
Yeah,
and we're led to believe he escaped those. And these are people that got locked up for it. You know, they're not. It's not like it's just.
It's not hearsay, is it? It's not gossip.
No, it's not hearsay. And there we have his son then cashing in. And now going back to what you said, Mark, what did you think about his dad? Maybe I know a picture doesn't. You can't sort of get to know somebody on a picture, but I look at his eyes there, and a lot of these people are just in the zone. They don't think about us. They've been taught not to think about us.
We can't point fingers just because it's his son, but you know, it kind of makes me wonder what that guy must go through.
Yes.
What he's been through, or I just don't get it. Like I said, if somebody said out bad about my dad, I'd say, yeah, he's a bit of an ass. He's not a very nice guy. But if you've got the whole of the world saying he should be locked up,
yeah,
I mean, in fairness, if he was like you and me, he'd be like a quivering wreck. He'd be like panicking. He wouldn't be running a multi-million business. He'd be like, you know, what?
He dared step out of the house.
It's, you know what I mean, though?
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
so. It's hard to understand for me.
Maybe he's shielded from it though, because I mean, according to the media, Tony Blair's like this veteran prime minister. Who
do you think? Do you honestly think that the Princess Diana's kids don't know what we've all said? Like David Icke said, that you know, the black swans and all the psychics that read.
Is it the fact though, Matt, that they're so that percentage is so enwrapped in that percentage? They follow their rules and they don't let their you know.
If you think about it though, Chris, right?
Harry knows his daughter got killed, but he knows in that
he can't do about it.
He can't do about it, and he can't say anything about it.
But Mark knows this because he's probably dealt with people like this more than we do. That in that society, the upper echelons of society, more of their kids kill themselves than probably in any other. I've just got a story today of one, a princess such and such died in
I read for a princess, and she tried to kill herself 5 times in I won't say where, but I read and healed her and helped her. She used to come into the village here,
right?
Two white limousines. She'd come up the stairs with flags on. She'd have a healing session, then go again, get back on a private plane. But people used to say to me, "Oh, I'd love to be a princess." I'd say, "You know what? No, you don't, mate. You don't want to be a princess at all."
No.
And it's funny that Disney sell you. I mean, I've got a 4-year-old. They sell that princess thing to kids from day one.
Yeah, and they sell the nice dress and get married. Get married.
Prince Charming's going to come over, and
if you get married, then you become a corporation together. You become a partnership, and it feeds the cog. It feeds the cog. Get divorced, it's okay. We'll split the assets, and you know, it feeds the solicitors and barristers. It's amazing how they've created such, you know. And like I said to my partner, I don't want to get married. I've been married twice. I know what it's all about. It's all bullshit. Oh, but it's lovely. Yeah. Because you've been combing a doll with a wedding dress all your life, and you've been programmed to want to get married. No, I want to get married because I want to know that we're together. Well, if we're meant to be together, we'll be together. If a ring doesn't bring you two together, it's like it's all
a Saturnian ring.
It's all a con. We've been conned, folks.
Yeah, we've been conned. Yeah, big time as well.
The Saturnian ring as well, as like you said, George Maxwell was going about.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible when you start to do your research. It's mind blowing, and it's like. But then the problem is, you're on your own, and you all of a sudden become kind of isolated because of what you know, and then you have to sit in the real world and talk to people who are talking about football, which I've got nothing against. But, you know, all the stuff that's on TV, like Coronation Street, which I have no idea. I took my TV away, and it's like I'm stood there like with that glazed look of, is this what life is about?
You've got to engage, haven't you, as well, and go, hey, this is wicked.
I feel a bit sick. I need to.
I came home the other day, Mark, and my missus and her sister. I came home from work, and they'd put bunting up for the Jubilee. It was to wind me up, to be fair. So they'd put a load of plastic flags. So I went in my shed, right, and I got out my. I've got one of those burners to burn weeds, and I just set fire to them all.
Flamethrower.
And they started laughing at first, and you could see they were disturbed. Like, aren't you going to burn them all down? So funny,
like Ghostbusters.
Is it still funny? Is it? Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, Chris will be wound up when he comes home and sees all these Union Jacks everywhere.
Yeah.
Crossed
I tell you, the more I get to know people, the more I love animals. It's awful to say.
That's a good
I know it's
comment.
awful to say it.
Well, one guy asked me to mention this, and I'll read a few comments, but has anybody experienced a type of breathing difficulties lately, or having mucus and things like that?
Totally.
Yeah. And,
Totally.
and when did that start? Did that start pre the nonsense or around the same time and after the nonsense? Mine were afterwards, March, April time of 2020. Not necessarily where you can't breathe. It's more that
I get an
mucus
example
is the sign.
yeah.
An example is this, Dom, right? You walk up the stairs one day and you just walk up the stairs. The next day you walk upstairs, you go, fucking hell, feel a bit chesty and a bit heavy. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean, yeah. So look at this. Where was that? Not that one.
One thing I've noticed is, and I've talked to you about this, Dom, is a burning feeling in the nose.
So I looked up the effects. There's a good book, actually. I don't know if you've read it, Matt, called Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberger. Suggest anybody who can buy it. It's a big book. And he's got a couple of podcasts floating about. He wrote a book about EMFs, electronic magnetic fields, and going on from Mr. Trower's information that he's given. But look what these things can. And this is on PubMed, by the way. This is basically all peer-reviewed articles or pre-peer reviewed articles, and it's a government website. It's not some spurious type of website. But just look there what they can cause. Chronic inflammatory processes located mainly in the skin, nervous system, as well as respiratory, cardiovascular, and musculoskeletal. So that is all part of that, what we've been talking about. And I'm not going to get into what we think that is. That's more for a private chat. But in my view, and Sam Carno there's put Full Spectrum Dominance, which was booked by Alana Freeland, that basically summed it up by the anyway. The spraying in the clouds, and also the masts and the things that we're all carrying around with us today, doing us things on. They're just been cranked up, in my opinion.
Well, I got sick last Christmas, and I got this weird infection in my nose, burning feeling in my nose.
Did it make your nostrils right wide?
That's an old joke now. You need to get a new one.
I don't need a new one. It's just the same old joke.
We already know what's
going
to come when you say it.
And also, it's visible.
All right. I apologise, Chris. It's not your nostrils. It's a pair of binoculars.
It's visibly evident that Dom's got bigger nostrils than me as well.
It don't matter. I keep saying you have, so you have now.
Anyway, last Christmas I got the weirdest illness, burning in my and I got it again recently, burning in the nose, and my throat swelled up. I mean, I took loads of vitamin C, and it kind of went away, but it just a bizarre thing. I'm not even ill, don't feel ill, but my tonsils swelled up really bright red, and I got this weird burning, like anxious feeling in my nose.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone else has felt that. But
lots of people are getting them symptoms all over. I mean,
it's not like an illness,
I have a
Mark.
massive clientele list. They're telling me every day what they're getting, and it's evident now that it's happening in certain. You see, they're not going to crank it all up in the same place. Everything, in my humble opinion, it's all it's all a huge, massive jigsaw with thousands of pieces, and they're all putting them together bit by bit. And like I traveled through the whole of Europe in my mobile home, and I mean, I was fixated on the towers. Yeah. Like, come on, guys, we're meant to be in this so-called pandemic. And all the guys are working 24/7 on a night, putting up these towers. They're springing up. I'm like, at one point, I thought, are aliens putting these up because they weren't there yesterday? How did they just spring up? Seriously?
I noticed my missus is from South London, and I drive from Cambridge down to South London sometimes. And going down the motorway, and what I realised was, so you've got farmland, and then their fields end at the motorway, and there's just tower after tower, massive, kind of horrible looking, monstrous looking towers.
Deliberately. I think they're deliberate. Monster.
Yeah.
They made them as ugly and as similar to the growler. They've tried. They're copying the growler, right? You know the growler, right?
Growler from what?
It's the growler. If you type into Google and have a look at the growler, it's basically a military vehicle that has crowd disperse Wi-Fi, which is exactly the same,
right,
as the 5Gs. It's the same. If you know, and the go-to for that, you probably already know.
Anti-COVID's just put, "Can you see my growler?" Chat.
Anyway,
not from here, COVID.
I was in every single part of the world. I was in Bali and I was going to live there. And I got on my motorbike one day and I drove from one end of the island to the other. And as I was driving, I went, shit, there was 5G death towers all
you can't say that, Mark.
All the way through everywhere. Yeah. They were everywhere, mate. They were everywhere.
I noticed. I went to Mount Snowdon a few years ago, and the farmer was telling the guy, you know, one of the ways he makes money is to put a tower at the end of his field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I noticed when I was driving to London, they're all at the end of some farmer's field. So they're on the end of his field and they're next to the motorway, and they're just grotesque.
Yeah. And you know, if you're really attuned to it, if you feel energy, if you pass by them, you will feel a pain in your head and your eyes, because it affects the water part of the body. So where's the most water, you know? So your eyes will get affected, your brain, you'll start to get a severe headache instantly, and your chest will start to feel like it's been burnt or pumped or some weird burning sensation. And your hands can start burning as well. Your fingers can start going pins and needles. And it's basically radiation poisoning. And did you see that woman on YouTube? She was taken down after a couple of days. She worked in the radiation department, and she got fired because at the very beginning of all of this, when people were being brought in, she was testing.
Be careful them. Now. yeah. Go on. She was testing them.
I forgot. Sorry, she was testing them, and she said, "Hey, look at the blood. Look at the blood." And she presented it to them, and she got fired. She got booted out.
I know that ever since smartphones came out, I've always said I can feel them humming in my hand.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I used to say to people, "Can you feel that humming?" They'd be like, "No, I don't know what you're on about." I can feel it humming, and it makes my lips. It makes my lips buzz. Like,
yeah. It does.
Yeah, but look at size your lips are like a dinghy.
Sometimes you. Is this Yorkshire humour?
That is actually quite hurtful, because I used to get called dingy lips at school.
You got called dingy lips?
Yeah, that actually fucking hits right there, fatty.
Yeah, I got called Desmond the Rubber Lips.
I got called Rubber Lips, Dingy Lips.
I got called the most handsome guy on the block, and that really upset me.
Yeah. Why? Because they were lying.
I got called Big Nose. You're Jewish.
Yeah. Right.
They used to call me Jewish. I say, yeah, I think I probably am. I think we've all got a bit of some blood in us, and you know.
I mean, our doms was blatantly obvious because we were darkies.
How about we all live on a planet? We all live on one planet, and we're all
you can't say that either now.
Oh, sorry.
So just to wrap up, right? I got this story out. Chanel, they took a massive dividend out. The two guys that own it, the Werthemeyer brothers, who basically stole it off Coco Chanel in the 1920s. Well, they didn't, but their grandfather did, and it's worth 90 billion just for making handbags and perfume.
Yeah, in China.
That's genius. Yeah. That's genius.
Italy, no China, mate. Honestly, China. Trust me.
China. Yeah.
I read that. I read that book actually, Fatty, Cosa Nostra, and it's about the. No, hang on a minute. Sorry, I got that wrong. Gomorrah. That book, Gomorrah. They made it into a TV series. The TV series, nothing to do with it. But what it is, they make the stuff in Italy, but it's made by Chinese and, without being rude, immigrants, and then they can say it's made in Italy. But basically,
or they can put one thing on it. They can put one thing on which is handmade, and then they can call it handmade. Oh, people. Nobody cares though. Nobody cares. Or the rich people are rich. They just want to walk around to show off their Chanel bag, and they will. There's a division between rich and poor, and let me tell you, I go to a coffee shop and they've got handbags at 60,000 to 150,000 euros a handbag. And I said, "Are you kidding me?" And my girlfriend said, "Yeah, that's 150,000 a handbag." And I said, "How can that be 150,000?" She said, "Oh yeah." And she told me the name of the company. And you get an appointment. You have to wait sometimes 6 months to a year. You go in and they tell you what you can have, and then you pay your 150 grand. It's
150 grand for a handbag.
Yes, honestly, mate.
Wow.
Honestly, look on Google. It's they start at 40, 50 grand. They go up to 150 grand.
You'll have to get rid of your bum bag now, Chris.
It's like it's another world, mate. It's another world, and it's a club, and we're not in it. Basically,
I don't want to be in it. To be fair,
exactly. Obscene.
One thing just quickly about one thing me and Dom talked about is if you took 20-year-old me, right, and I've got a little sculpture business, and you said, you can, I'm not saying sign the deal, but if you do this, this, and this, and you're 20-year-old, you will be rich and famous for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? Say like Justin Bieber. I would probably have gone, yes, okay, I'll fucking sign that. Not realizing.
Most people would.
My point is that's why they get them young, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't know what life is.
Yeah.
And we've been told,
hungry, and you want that stuff, and you would
they brainwash you to be the first. They brainwash you to be successful. They brainwash you that's the only thing that's important. So it's easy to entrap us. So we had the same mindset, Dom. We used to start business. We used to think that was the most important thing until we grew up and realized it was all bullshit.
Yeah. And the strange thing is, we were quite good at it, and it was something difficult to take your foot off the gas about with, because not only were you sort of getting that parasite in your veins, if you like, going back into the 2000s, but you actually were quite good at it as well.
There's nothing wrong with being industrious and making.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong with that. No,
there's nothing wrong with it, really.
What do you mean industrial?
What I mean is, like, clearly, I remember you had your business as a antique.
I was an auctioneer,
Auctioneer. What I mean is, I'm industrious. I've got my little sculpture business. I'm not making a fortune out of it, but Dom was industrious and he was hungry. He was a businessman and he loved business as yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
But is that can you equate that? Isn't that creative?
He's creative. Yeah, exactly. He's creative.
That's it's different from industrial.
Yeah, maybe I used the wrong word. Maybe
like for me,
it's just been drunk 3/4 of a bottle of witch piss. So
creativity is got nothing to do with, like, for me, like Dom says, we talked about business. I actually was more interested in creating. So I would want to create a business. I didn't get a kick out of running it. I enjoyed creating. Yeah, and I think you did, Dom.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
It's a massive difference. I know people who only want one thing, and that is as much money they can put in the bank, as much wealth as they can. We never did that as kids. No. That wasn't what that is what we wanted to do.
Yeah, like the creative side of it.
Yeah.
Well, I've been a head chef my whole life, right? And my missus said to me the other day, "You don't actually like being a head chef." I don't want to tell anyone what to do because it's not the bit I like. Totally. I like setting up the thing, and I've opened numerous kitchens. I like the setting up of it. Once it's set up, the day-to-day stuff I'm not really that interested in. Yeah,
totally agreed. So this is exactly what I'm saying. We're a different energy than a lot of these people in Hollywood, Hollyweird and LA and these gates. These are people with a different mindset.
Different agenda as well.
Different. Yeah, I mean they're out to crush. They're out to swindle. They're out to cheat. They're out because they get a buzz out of it. It's a buzz. They get a buzz out of being that kind of person. Whereas we had integrity. We didn't want to hurt anybody. Yeah, we wanted to do something and be successful in the sense of create something that shows something that we were proud of. But these other guys that are multi-millionaire, there's a different mindset that you can't figure out. If you try and understand them, it's really difficult. And that's why I say I think there's a lot of us come from different parts of the universe. As this beautiful drop in the ocean, I don't think they come from the same drop in the ocean.
Do you think they're stuck here, that energy? Them people, a lot of people think that type of energy is stuck. They're taken over by energy that's stuck here, whereas we're transient souls, if you like.
The only problem with that is that you limit yourself to one conversation, and I think there's thousands of conversations in that.
Good call, Mark.
Yeah, good call, Mark. Yeah, really good call. Yeah, you could come again.
I was talking to my missus the other day. She works in an office, right? And she was saying, this guy said this and did it, and it just dawned on me. You've just got these people. I mean, like me. For instance, right, I would be horrified if I really upset someone because I've been mean to them, right?
How come you're not horrified about me?
But you've got these people that exist in the world who happily would just upset 20 people in a day.
Yeah.
And some people call them energy vampires because they actually suck. I mean, you can actually see it if you're in.
But it's with a smile on the face, Mark. It's a smile on the face.
No, it's not a smile. It's an.
Did you not get that email then?
They get strong.
All right.
They become strong from it. It's a bit like, I think David Icke talks about, the abuse of children and these psychopaths, what they do to kids. There is an energy that they feed from. And some people feed from enjoying beating the hell out of somebody. And some people enjoy hurting children. And some people enjoy causing as much disruption in the family and in a party because they feed from it. It gives them a sense of a new power and energy that we just don't understand it. It was like, what the, but it's
a minimal, tiny little microscopic dig at someone and they continue with the day. Whereas if I did that, I'd feel terrible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you're a different energy. You're not like other people. And it's hard for you to understand that. And most of humanity, it's hard for them to understand why a bully does what they do. And the problem with that is that you spend all your life trying to figure it out. And you are the one who ends up giving your power away by doing that.
I've reached the point at my age now where I just go, fuck them.
We need to teach children to say that at a young age, but not say fuck them. But we need to teach children.
Hey, do you know, Matt? Actually, saying that, I'll give you an example. My daughter, right? She's got a best friend, right? And her best friend has now got this. And I'm not blaming her best friend, by the way, but she's 4 years old as well. But she's now got this terminology where she says, "You're not my friend anymore." And my daughter cried. Oh, she said she's not my friend anymore. Like kids do. And I said, how about you just walk away and say, I don't care. And the next time she did it, Cicely just walked away, went and played with someone else.
Took her power back.
Said, okay. She was still upset about it, but she realised that it didn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And until you realise it doesn't matter, it'll matter.
I mean, the fucking soldiers we're building now, i.e. my 4-year-old and Dom's Nipper and your kids, these soldiers we're building now, we're arming them with this ammunition for these knobheads in the future. You know what I mean? They'll be indestructible.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've
set
out and done what we...
I ranted then.
No, none of us ranted. I think it's gone, Mark turning up and coming in, it's gone in a total... this is what I wanted, to be honest with you, just a chinwag and like we do normally, Chris,
Yeah.
But it's a different dimension,
Thank God you had your bullet points, because God knows,
Well, I always have. I'm armed with them, but I knew if we got Mark involved that we'd just buzz off each other. And this is, I don't know. There's 500 people watching. It's quite
surprising. Is it 500 people watching?
Yeah, it's surprising actually, but
500 people watching.
Do you know what? If there were one person watching, I'd still be exactly.
I'd still do it. Yeah,
exactly.
Would,
1 million. It doesn't make any difference.
That's what I mean.
I am thankful that I'm here and that people are still on here. And even if they get one thing from this conversation, then we've done our job tonight.
And also, just the fact that we can say what we want and
more or less.
Well, yeah, more or less, but
yeah.
You can talk that talk, to like-minded people, and the people who are listening are absorbing it as well. you know.
Well, it keeps us all kind of sane.
Yeah.
In an insane world. If we can talk like this, then because it's very rarely that you get to hear things like this on the mainstream or anywhere else for that matter, because it's all been censored. So it's been an honor tonight, and thanks for letting me come on, Dom, Chris. I feel really honored. Thanks.
Well, we feel honoured you being on. I mean, you've been around doing this kind of stuff for a lot longer than me and Chris have been doing it. You know,
it's quite funny actually, Matt, because I used to listen. I still do listen to Rich Allen, and I was listening to Rich Allen
Should get Richie on.
Yeah, I'd love him to be on.
Yeah. I was listening to him, and you popped on there, and I was like, "That's fucking Dom's mate." And you came on with your Huddersfield accent, I'm like, and I rang Dom and went, "Is Matt Bajeski your mate from Huddersfield?" I definitely recognise him. It's definitely him.
How long ago was that, Chris?
Well, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, if some of your guys don't know who he is, please, you know, check his channel out, because the people that he has on are some amazing people. You might disagree with them and you might be pissed off with them, but I tell you what, at least it gives them a chance.
He's a journalist, isn't he? Whereas we're not journalists, are we? You know, that's what a journalist should do. Should listen to everybody's point of view.
Mark, I subscribe to Rich Allen, and I'm a Patreon, and
good for you. Well done, mate. Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
I love that guy. I listen to every show he puts out.
Yeah, and like whenever he's like, "Oh shit, something's gone wrong," I'm like, "Let me help." And so many people want to help because they realize it's the only go-to that an Irishman can rant and going, yeah.
And he's got better as well, because I used to listen to him when he used to do interviews, and he interviewed you. That's when it dawned on me, I'm like, I'm sure that's Dom's mate. I'm sure I know him. But now, I mean, and through the nonsense, he was fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You know?
Right, okay. We're going
to... He's becoming more enlightened in the sense of he's not saying
not a conspiracy theorist.
He's saying that could be. He's more open now, which is lovely to see. That he's becoming more open, and not that I want him to be anything other than who he is, but it's nice that he's now saying, they could.
You've seen a guy on a natural progression.
Exactly, that's the beautiful thing about Richie. He's become very natural and more open. But I mean, I sometimes I disagree with him, and sometimes I think that's bullshit. But
that's
you know
how it should
what?
be.
It's great that we can disagree and still be mates. You know, like I say, I've been to watch Ike, and I took somebody with me, and they just pointed out one thing, and then they didn't want to know him after that. And I'm like, we spent 11 hours, and one thing you disagree with, and 11 hours. I'm struggling with that. So we need to change our thought.
This is the world we're living in, where you've got to be that or that. There's no.
We're all looking for somebody like, oh, that didn't hurt me, but this has hurt me. Well, okay.
I say to Dom quite regularly is I love listening to a conversation.
Yeah.
Between two intelligent people, whether they agree with them or not.
Exactly.
It's exciting and it's interesting. Doesn't matter.
We've lost that though. Have you not noticed? It's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's everything's clickbait. Everything. Listen to me. Hi guys. If you need to stop what you're doing right now and listen to me. It's like, brr.
Yeah. There's no. No one's willing to listen to a conversation that
so
don't 100% agree with.
We'll carry this on. We're going to end this stream now. So I'd like to say thanks for everybody for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you next time. I think we can say that we've probably enjoyed this.
Do this again, won't we?
Definitely do it again. And, we won't do an impromptu one this time. Mark will be on from the start doing it as a guest. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Meow.